Good evening, everybody. If y'all hear me, I am starting my YouTube live session in about 2 minutes. Just gonna wait for people to get ready and hop into the video and the channel. All right, give me 1 second. For those of you who are waiting patiently, thank you. I'm gonna just let my groups know that I am going live now. Okay. Awesome. Here we go. Almost ready. Okay. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you can hear me properly. Okay. Well, I don't know if there's some issue with my sound, but... Oh, okay. Looks like people can hear me now. Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Perfect. All right, guys. If you don't know me, my name is Amal. I am the head analyst of the Cryptosomniac community. I also own my own investment fund here in Texas called Pegasus Digital Asset Investment. I am the chief investment officer. I'm also co-managing another fund from Australia, which our dear friend James from Cryptosomniac started. So I'm helping out with that. Awesome. Glad you guys can see it, see the chart and everything. So today, guys, I'm going to just do a brief, dive into price action of what's happening right now. But then what we're going to do is we're going to have a fresh chart open and we're going to mark it up, okay? And I'm going to show you guys how to draw trend lines, resistance levels, support levels, fibs, find order blocks, which indicators to use, etc., etc. Okay, this way you guys can learn how to follow along or do it yourself or come to the Cryptosomniac Discord and get help if you need some. Okay, awesome. So right now, guys, as I mentioned this morning, that we would soon be penetrating this descending trend line that has been coming in. If you pay attention to that yellow line, right, it comes in way back here from March, touches May, bleeds through July, cuts through September, and now it's meeting us right around $6,600, right there. And I told y'all that we're gonna have a little bit of trouble. As you can see, we clearly are, right? Why is it that we have trouble when it comes to descending trend line resistance levels like that? Well, the trend line itself is somewhat arbitrary, right? It doesn't mean that it's actually referring back to a order book and markings on the order book, but rather that the price pattern has followed essentially this descending trend line. So the price has created in and of itself a pattern that's followed this trend line, and we would think that the pattern would be respected for the next few months until the pattern is finally broken, right? But we have not seen anything like that, right? We've seen slight breaches of the pattern, like here, right? But these are nothing but anomalies and deviations from the norm, which is this pattern, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to mark up your chart, where to find order blocks, how to use Fibonacci's, find horizontal and horizontal support and resistance levels, and hopefully you learned something today. Awesome, guys. Okay, so let me first show you guys this chart right here. Okay, so here's my little, BLX chart. BLX, by the way, is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index, meaning that it gathers data from multiple exchanges and it kind of calculates an average, right? So for example, if Coinbase had a price today at closing of 6,500 and Bitfinex had a price at 6,550. Brave New Coin will calculate and aggregate all that data and essentially give you a closing candle price after the day has closed. Okay, so, and I kind of like that because the chart's not moving. The chart is basically stagnant until the next day starts. So it gives me an idea of what's happened in the past and what's going to happen. But anyway, so we're going to make the chart look something like that and make it a little bit more complicated too. So take a look at this, right? And now we're going to dive towards this BLX chart right here. Okay, same thing. And don't worry about this. So this is an indicator that I found, VZO, PZO. It's just a new indicator that I'm testing out from a gentleman named Neobutane or something on Twitter. Really smart guy, makes really cool indicators. I just wanted to give it a shot just to see if it is actually useful. But yeah, ignore that. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna delete it. Okay. All right. So here we go. Okay. BLC or BLX chart. Right. So first thing, what are we going to do? What do we see in this chart? Right. For the last 7 years of data, what can we see in this chart? Well, it's clearly at a nice uptrend. Right. So if it's at a nice uptrend, can we find trend lines and moving averages to support our theory that it is still in an uptrend? Okay, well, let's do that. All right, let's pull up a trend line. So you go to your toolbox right here, grab trend line right here, click on it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a best fit line that tries to touch multiple points on this chart, kind of like this. Okay, so this line kind of drew itself. I don't really like that. I'm going to do it like that. And I'm going to stretch it out to essentially do my best to touch multiple points on this chart. Obviously, you can't force it, right? You can't drag it in the middle of the chart because that doesn't make any sense. But you want to see that, okay, can I draw the line like this? And does it touch multiple support levels if I draw it like that? Well, let's see. Okay, so first you want to look over here, right? And if you want to go grab a zooming tool, you grab it at the bottom left. And you can just, slightly move it so it's touching all those areas almost perfectly. Doesn't need to be super exact, but if you want, you could be super peculiar. So here we go. Touches one point, that's resistance, comes back around, takes a few weeks, comes back around again, right? And touches that again, we go down again, right? So you now know that this is a significant area of resistance. Every time the candles touch this area, you are clearly seeing a point of rejection. Okay, so one rejection, two, third time we just break right through. Now that we broke through, now what? Okay, we broke through around February 2013. We don't come back to touch that 2 years later. Okay, almost 2 years and 4 or 5 months later, right? Way back here in August 2015. And so we touch it once, right? Touch it twice, almost, multiple times right here. I mean, again, it doesn't need to be almost perfect, but it just needs to be a best fit line. So we can drag this up a little bit, and you now know that multiple points are touching right there, respecting it, hovering back above, coming back, respecting it one more time, going back, respecting it, going up, respecting it, and then we just took off for our big bull run in 2017 and 18. Now what? Okay, so now we're at this juncture where we're essentially just floating in the middle of nowhere, or at least what seems to be the middle of nowhere. Okay, so how are we going to now mark up where we are currently with price action? Well, let's zoom into the chart. All right, so here we are today, and this is BLX, so this is yesterday's candle, okay? Or rather last week's candle. So what I like to do is be able to find order blocks. So what exactly are order blocks? Well, order blocks are essentially where price has been rejected by a level, right? Comes back to its, to find more buyers to push the price up further, okay? because clearly at this area, there were more sellers than buyers, right? Price went down, took a dip, and clearly in this area, we found a lot of strong buyers. And then after this, I mean, we kind of just took off. And then we met, more sellers again, right? In this area, then we met sellers again, and then we took off, okay? And then obviously we didn't stop till 20K. So what exactly does that mean? All right, so let's break it down. So currently, you could just point your price action tool right there, and you can see we're around this area, and it matches right between this weekly candle, right? So what I like to do is I grab my Fibonacci tool, right? Catch the high of this candle and the low of the candle. So as you can see, if I hover above it, the high of the candle is 7862. The low of the candle is 5496. So let's grab that, okay? And I grab my Fibonacci like that, and I only grab the 100 fib, 50, and 0, okay? So the high, the low, and the 50, basically, okay? So I'm gonna make sure that's perfect, okay? So 7862 and 5496, right? So all you do is click that, go to coordinates, okay? So 7862.10. What was the other one? 5496.46. 5496.46, okay? All right, so now the coordinates are perfect, okay? They are perfectly aligned with this particular order block. And this is called the order block again because this is where we had a big down candle before the big up move, okay? And as you can see, every time we've come back from the top of 20K, we touched this area, we rejected this price. We said, hell no, we are not going back down here. Boom, we caught a lot more buyers, pushed the price up significantly, went to 11.7K. All right, price got rejected because we saw a lot of sellers here, okay? Then what happened? Well, we came down again into the order block, right? Now, as you can see, it came back down perfectly, almost perfectly to this 50% Fibonacci level, right? Of this order block, by the way. And now you're essentially, you stay under it for about 3 weeks, right? Again, each of these candles are weekly candles, and then you move away. Go back to almost 10,000, come back, and then you spend almost 6 to 7 weeks inside this order block. And you actually break the 50% order block, as you can see. And we go under it, right? And we go all the way to $5,800, but we don't get to the bottom of it, right? But we do stay under this 50% for almost 2.5, 3 weeks, and then we finally break out and above, and we go to 8,500. And now we come back down again, spend 2 weeks, weak bounce. As you can see, strong bounce, somewhat strong bounce, weak bounce, and now no bounce, okay? So now we're essentially under the 50 Fibonacci level, as you can see. And where exactly is that 50 Fibonacci? It's around 6679, okay? So now you know that 6679 is an area that we first need to break over, right? And then the next area of the order block is 7862. That, once we exceed that part of the order block, then you can say that, okay, now we're looking bullish. But until we stay between, anywhere between 5,400 and 7862, we're essentially in a sideways trading range inside this order block. And why is this, again, why is this important? Well, before the big up move, we had a down move, right? So there was a lot of buyers who realized, okay, you know what, I'm going to buy into Bitcoin, and I'm going to see how it goes for the next few months. And these people may or may not have sold, but a lot of them are probably still holding, okay? And the fact that they're holding, right, and this price has not broken this area, it tells me that these people are waiting to see if the price will go past or if they will sell off their Bitcoin once it breaks under this order block. Because if it breaks under, they're going to be underwater, right? They're going to be taking a loss on their Bitcoin. And that's where you might find capitulation, where the people from this weekly candle right here, this little area right here, are essentially waiting for the price to get out of this range. They don't want to stay here because Now they're basically even, or they're about to be at a loss sooner or later, okay? And they can't afford to do that. So they might cut their losses short. They might be accumulating here. I don't really know. But if it breaks this order block, then what's next? All right, then we have another order block, right? One right below. And remember, guys, remember I told y'all that I expect, I told you guys like almost like a month and a half ago, and I told y'all that I would expect price to come down and find a bottom at 5,500, right? Why did I say 5,500? Well, now you know. It's the bottom of this order block, okay? Didn't just pull the numbers out of my ass. It has to do with this weekly candle being part of a larger order block, okay? Man, give me a thumbs up if you have heard me say order block enough. I feel like I keep repeating myself. I apologize, guys. I just, I like to reiterate a point until it's just hammered into your head, because a lot of people just don't realize the significance of just looking to the left of the chart. Looking to the left of the chart resolves, almost like 90% of a trader's issues. I kid you not, okay? So anyway, so what's to the left of the chart again? Okay, if this order block is broken, where do we go below that? Well, it's the high of this candle, which is 4680, and the low of this candle, which is 2977. So let's do that. Okay, 4680, let's do that. I'm not gonna make it down to pennies, but I'll make it closest to the dollar sign. Okay, so that's your next order block right there. We are waiting to pierce it, right? So let me just make this a different color since we haven't touched it yet. And again, if you want to learn how to do this stuff, please join our community. We're very nice people. Holy shit, that's an ugly color. All right, that's better. Okay, so that would be your next order block, right? So if we break 5,500, what's the next area? Well, 4780, right around $4,800. And if we pierce this order block and we completely break this price range, right, then we can expect 3,878, and then at the bottom, almost 3,000. Okay, and remember, I told you guys that I expect Bitcoin's pricing to be somewhere between 3,500 and 4,500 to find its bottom, because I truly believe that this is really the area that Bitcoin wants to come to, but it needs to weed out, the people who bought in this area first, okay? Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. We'll just have to see, okay? Guys, give me a thumbs up if you're liking this content or if you're enjoying it. If it's too boring, let me know. I can just, not do it. I'm trying to do my best to teach you guys something new. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, give me a thumbs up. Give me like some indication that you're enjoying the content, okay? Awesome. So as you now know that we are now essentially under that 50 Fibonacci of this weekly candle, okay? If you joined late on this podcast, or on this YouTube live, please just rewind back and catch up, okay? Awesome. So we looked at that. Now let me show you guys exactly what has happened, right, in the price range and how I see it. Okay, so below that is another mini order block, and we're going to now call this a mini accumulation zone, because this was about 4 to 5 weeks of sideways, breaking down price movement, right? And so what exactly happened here? So here's what I think, okay? In this area, right, I think that we had some big early investors, okay, and smart buyers. So big buyers plus traders plus institutions, okay, and they bought here, okay. Crap, delete that. All right, so they bought here, okay. And then what did they do? Like all smart institutional traders do, they push the price up, let the price fly a little bit, see what's happening. All right, take a little bit of profit, and then you come back to this little order block right here, create another sideways, demand block for people and take profits up here, reload, buy some more Bitcoin right at these lows right here, right? And then push the price up again. Come back, take some profit, and now you're ready for the final push. Dump a little bit of Bitcoin, reaccumulate down here in this candle, and then the final push for the 20,000 run, excuse me, and then just start dumping. Okay, this is where the smart traders and everyone started dumping. And for all I know, I mean, they could still be dumping because they own probably a sizable amount. Okay, and what they'll do is they'll dump and dump, and they'll probably wait for prices to come back to this block again. And this is where they will reaccumulate in this area marked by the green. Okay, this is essentially where they will reaccumulate and ready the price action for the next push. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Awesome. Cool. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. Now let's go to the smaller time frames. Okay, so let me pull up a smaller time frame. Actually, shouldn't have done it on this chart. Darn it. Okay, it's fine. Let me pull up this chart right here. Bitstamp, right? Okay. So now how do you draw, now you just saw how to draw, sideways, horizontal, and support levels, right? Because order blocks can essentially do that for you. Now let's try to draw trend lines, okay? Now how do you draw trend lines, okay? So I like to go on the daily chart here, right? And we're essentially going to look at this chart, right? We're going to find the highs. So this is a high right here. Right? And let's try to touch both these highs. Okay, so let's do this like that. Okay, so that's one of your trend lines. So the trend line touches from the high of February, the high of May, cuts through the high of July. It doesn't need to be perfect because it won't be in this case, right? But as you can see, clearly price was still respecting it, okay, this trend line. And now you see that trend line being respected once, twice, and we may be coming soon to it again, okay, around $6,800. All right, now let's try to draw another trend line, touching the highs of this one, and touching the high of this one, and this one right here. Okay, that's your other trend line. Okay, you want to try to grab the highs of the more preceding sizable noticeable highs. Okay, that's kind of how you want to draw trend lines. All right, you can't just draw a trend line, from here to here. I mean, that doesn't make any sense, right? You know that if price is touched here and it's touched here and it's touched here, there's something happening in this diagonal sort of line, right? And so you want to see if there is, a line that could be a best fit that touches all 3 points. And these two lines, I think, give you the best description for that, okay? And so now you see, essentially, price coming close to it, okay? So here we are. Let me try to see if we can draw something like this, okay? This one's kind of interesting too, right? Pretty noticeable one, okay? So we grab the highs of July, grab the highs of September, and now we're coming up to this trend line as well, okay? So multiple trend lines in our way, on the way out, right? And as I told you guys already, we are already stuck in the sideways order block under the 50% Fibonacci level, and we're already struggling to get over it. So what do you think is going to happen when we come closer to this descending trend line? Well, we're probably going to get rejected, and we might get rejected hard, okay? Just, again, this is just my way of looking at TA, and I know I have a bearish bias, but I don't have a bearish bias because I want to be bearish. It's because that's what the chart is showing me, right? I'd be more than happy if, you know, we started reaching for 7 or 8K, but it's just not possible, right? So remember, keep these prices in mind right here, okay? Let's go back. So keep these prices in mind: 7862, 6679, and 5496. Okay, so for now, let's just worry about 7862 and 6679. All right, I'll go back to that chart. Okay, I think it was a Bitstamp chart. There we go. All right. So, where are we right now? Also, let me see what happened in Bitfinex versus here. Why do I see a taller wick? Oh, okay. I see what happened. Okay, we had a little bit of a price movement. Okay, so here we are, right, on Bitfinex, okay? Essentially coming up closer to that 6730 marker. Again, barely able to break above that, you know, $6,600, mid $6,600 area, okay? So as I told you guys again, pay attention to the bigger time frames. I tell you guys many a times, you have to be able to look at bigger time frames in your charts, because it is without a question that this market is in a bearish macro downtrend like that, okay? You know, any child can tell you that on, you know, this area on the way up, we were in an uptrend. This area on the way down, we're essentially in a downtrend, okay? Awesome. Let me look at my notes here real quick to show you guys another thing, which is volume. Okay, so here's the volume, right, guys? So as you can see, this area right here, you can see that the price is slowly moving on up, right? You can see the price is moving up, okay? And what do you see in the volume, right? You can see from over here, the volume is declining like that, right? So let me pull up a chart, okay? Here's a chart that I found. Decreasing volume, rising price equals bearish. If we saw volume rising and price falling, that's bearish too. But if volume is increasing and price is rising, right, that's a bullish sign. If volume is decreasing and price is falling, that's also a bullish sign, meaning that it's going to turn around soon. That's what that means, okay? But in this case, if we keep this chart in mind, where are we? Volume is decreasing, right? Price is increasing. There should not be an increase in price at this level because volume is decreasing. So as you know, according to that chart, we are looking more bearish. And now you can confirm that with the order block that we just saw. And you know that, okay, this is a non-trading zone, right? So it makes no sense to jump into a trade here. Awesome. Another argument you can make is this, that someone told me that this is a large bear pennant, kind of like that. Okay, so let me draw it out. It's a terrible drawing of that, but this is kind of your bear pennant. Okay, it doesn't need to be perfect, but that's so that's a good argument, right? But again, what is the area that we're looking toward, right, to break this? Again, it is 6679. That needs to be broken on multiple time frames, 4 hour, 1 day, and hopefully the weekly. And then we can say, okay, we might be somewhat bullish again. Okay, awesome. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Please shoot questions my way. I know I'm kind of rambling on. What's that? I was bearish a few weeks ago. Now I'm 50-50 Sun King. I'd rather it go down to 4K, but nobody wants to hear this. Yeah, you're right, Sun King. You know, honestly, I always have, you know, capital reserved for when prices fall. But I'm also, you know, dollar cost averaging on altcoins. The projects that I believe in, right? In our Cryptosomniac Discord, I mentioned some medium and long-term trades. You know, come join and you know, you guys can check them out. But you know, we have trades, guys, like every few days. You know, there's always money to be made in this market, and you know, there's no reason why anyone should be frustrated with this market. If you want to, you know, have a super volatile market, or you want to be making, you know, gains on longing something, go trade the equity markets. Go and hop into Forex. You know, I mean, there's money to be made everywhere, guys. You don't have to just stay in crypto. You know, I like to trade Forex on the weekends for fun. I like to trade, you know, the equity markets on Mondays and Fridays sometimes. You know, crypto is just, you know, my full-time gig right now because I love the market and I feel like there's a lot more potential to it than most people are, you know, underestimating. Okay. And I think, you know, I think Jason and I were talking about this yesterday, which is that, you know, I think there's only like 20 million or 10 million people around the world who have even heard or are invested in cryptocurrencies. I mean, think about the world population at large, you know, waiting to get in to a market like this, right? That's, I mean, significant. Sorry about that if you hear my dogs. But anyway, you know, clearly there's a lot of money to be made in this market. And I mean, this is just the, you know, tip of the iceberg, guys. Like, we have a long way to go, in my opinion. But again, for institutions, right, just the way they accumulated here, they're going to want to come back to this price range right here to reaccumulate, okay? And that is what I fundamentally believe. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? But I just don't see it that way. I don't think they want to pay, you know, $6,500 for a Bitcoin, especially when we already see this order block weakening. We already see that demand is dwindling. We already know that the average, you know, retail investor has left the market. They're bored as fuck, right? They're tired of, you know, seeing losses, you know, put on day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, right? They probably are the ones who bought at like 14, 16, 18, 20K, and they started selling when prices were at 6K, kind of like right now. Most average retailers don't even know how the fuck to buy something, let alone to, like, you know, make proper decisions of how to create risk management strategies. But that's kind of what we're trying to do at Cryptosomniac, and I'm trying to do that in my fund, where I personally, you know, trade for other people, right? Because I know you guys have other, you know, things to do with your lives, like taking care of your family and kids and going to your job. But let me do what I'm good at, and you do what you're good at, and we can all be happy, right? Awesome. Do you guys have any questions thus far? Let me know, okay? I'm going to keep moving on with this thing. Let's see where BTC shorts are. So again, trend line, right? Clear trend line right there. Okay, just like that. You try to touch the bottoms of the candle, and it looks like this area is looking to find support at, I don't know, maybe somewhere around here, 29,000 contracts. It might come back down to that level, okay? One more thing I want to show you on this chart right here. Let me pull up the weekly. And this is how you also utilize moving averages. So keep these in mind. If you're taking notes or, you know, listening intently, remember that the equity markets like to utilize moving averages that are 25, 50, 100, 125, and 200. Okay, those are the ones that you know, most equity traders love to use. Okay, so here's another one right there. Let's add 3 more. Okay, so let's go over here. All right, so we're gonna add 25. That's that. This is 50. I'm gonna make this gold. I'm gonna add this one as 100, and we'll make this purple. This is your 100. And again, this is on the weekly chart. right? So you're about to see some magic happen here, okay? So watch this, right? You'll see some of these moving averages being respected by the price, okay? All right, so the red one is a 200, okay? So you see that at the bottommost point in this market, way back here in 2015, you see that the 200 moving average right here on the weekly is respected once, twice, almost multiple times, you know, for a good month, and then it just takes off, right? And now we are essentially under the 50 and the 25, okay? The 50 is a blue, remember, and 25 is the gold. 100 is the purple right there, which is, you know, about to meet us at the bottom of this order block, right around 5,500. Okay, as you can see, if you see the blue right there, right? At one point, the blue was resistance, then it became support, and then became resistance again. And then once we finally just broke down under it, we were just hovering, you know, trying to break past it, but we could not, okay? And then finally we met the 200 and the 100 at a crossroads back here in September and October of 2015. Price moved away from it. Price caught support at 100 and 200 and then moved away and took off. That is how you utilize moving averages to you know, execute trades and find good buying opportunities, okay? How do you pick coins to day trade? Internet Thug asked that. So Internet Thug, I do a lot of rigorous analysis of, you know, what kind of volume am I seeing? What sort of order block is a coin sitting in? Is it sitting on good supports? How is Bitcoin doing? You know, how is the market sentiment? What exactly is the fucking point of this coin to exist, right? If it even has, you know, a room for existence, right? So for example, we gave some signals for Zilliqa last few days, and Zilliqa is doing well now, right? So you got to know exactly when to buy, why to buy, and where to sell. Okay, it's not just about, you know, accumulating and, you know, forgetting. I mean, clearly this is a good time to buy a lot of alts, right? But don't just buy any alt because you're gonna get burnt. The alts are already down 80 or 90%. Don't think that they can't go to zero, because they definitely can. Okay, but here in Cryptosomniacs, we like to provide good investment and day trading opportunities. And we have, and you can check out, you know, our channel, and you can look at the reviews. You know, me and Jordan and Jason and you know, James, we provide good signals that help make people good, you know, profits. Again, that's not investment advice. You can do your own research. We just do the analysis. It's up to you to take the trade or not. I don't really care, you know. Most of the time, almost like 95 to 100% of the time, actually, I hop into the trade at the same time that I let you guys know. So it's not like I just blindly tell you that, hey, you know, buy this or sell here or buy here. You know, I'm telling you about it because that's what I'm doing, right? So it's kind of like a, you know, ride or die together kind of relationship that we have in this community, and I love it. So do you do all TH for all alts? No. So Internet Thug, there are a lot of signal finders that I use. I use a lot of bots. Crypto Hopper is another one that I like to use. The link is below. I also do a lot of, we actually added 2 more bots in our channel. It's called the Altcoin Alerts, and you can come check out our channel and check those out. I think that's for Advantage members only, but you know, every like hour it cranks out, you know, volume alerts and price shift alerts, and so you get, you know, potential buying or selling opportunities, whether you want to spot buy or long, or if you want to short, right? So there's always buying opportunities throughout the day, and you know, in our community, we definitely provide a lot. So anyway, but that's pretty much it, guys. That's all I have for today. If you guys like this, you know, give me a thumbs up, and yeah, hopefully I'll talk to you all soon. Please join our Cryptosomniac community, and I'll see you in the Discord. Alrighty, cheers.